Welcome, the Carrivick sisters.
I was out in the country one beautiful night. I spied a fair maiden, my heart's delight. She was handsome and true, warm-hearted and fair, a widow's lone daughter, a widow's lone heir. And when I reached home, the old lady in bed, in hearing us talking, she raised her head. "Who's there?" cried she. I told her my name. "A courting your daughter, on purpose I came." My daughter, my daughter, my daughter," cried she, "do you think that my daughter can go before me? And isn't it strange that a girl so young can have all the sweethearts and I can have none? I know you're a widow whose pockets are large. I know you're a widow who has a great charge." "A widow," cried she, "you scorn my name." She upped with a broomstick and at me she came. I flew to the door to escape in the night. The doors and the windows were all fast quite tight. The first thing I knew was a rap on the head that sent me a-reeling in under the bed. And when I came out, the old lady was there. She hit me another on the head with a chair. "Oh, murder," cried I, and flew to the door. And then the old woman, she hit me once more. She hit me, she kicked me, till last I got clear. I jumped on my horse and home I did steer. And when I reached home, all bloody and sore, there never was a fellow skinned up so before. Young men, be warned by me, a widow's lone daughter never go to sea. For sure as you do, you'll meet your doom and carry the marks of the widow's old broom."
Thanks very much. It's lovely to be here.
I've got a terrible, terrible memory, and I was trying to remember if I'd been here before, and I finally remembered that this is the festival where I bought 2 lovely soap dishes, and there are lots of good dogs. So I'm glad to see both things are still here. If you ever need a good soap dish...
No. Not yet.
Not yet. Laura wants to buy one.
I want to get one, so don't all rush and buy all the soap dishes first, because I've come all this way for a soap dish. But after I've bought my soap dish, buy a nice soap dish. Anyway, yeah, it's really lovely to be back here in the land of lovely dogs and soap dishes. Those first two... the song was one called The Widow's Lone Daughter, and we should know more about it than we do, but we've lost the CD cover that had all the information on it that we copied it off. The tune is one of my favourites, and it's called Ragtime Annie. We're going to play one of our own songs now. This is one called If You Asked Me, and it was inspired kind of by a map that I had up on my bedroom wall, and it's a world map, and it had not much detail, but it did have the highest and lowest points on Earth marked on it, so Mount Everest and Challenger Deep. And I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I'd assumed completely wrongly that the highest point on Earth would be directly opposite to the lowest point on Earth, because that would just be nice and even, and it's like if you got a squidgy ball and you stuck a finger in it, something might come out the other side. It's obviously not like that. They're a lot closer than I'd imagined. In fact, about 1 inch apart, according to this map. And so I thought, you could go on a great day trip between the two. Obviously, it's not very possible, really. But it was as I say, it was on my bedroom wall, so I probably wasn't very awake at the time. Anyway, so that made me think, that's not worth bothering with at all. And then, for some reason, it sort of got me thinking about those love songs that you get. That the message in them is sort of along the lines of, I love you so much, I'd do anything for you. And I was thinking, no, that would be a lot of work to do that for someone. So I thought, you need a love song that's a little bit more realistic. So this is I love you so much, I'd do anything within reason for you song. So this is If You Asked Me. I'd go from Challenger Deep to Everest Peak for you if you asked me to. But I'd be asking you, why are you out of your mind if you asked me just out of the blue? If you asked me to sing for you, it would take me by surprise. If you asked me to care for you, then we'd have to say our goodbyes. I'd go from Challenger Deep to Everest Peak for you if you asked me to. But I'd be asking you, why are you out of your mind if you asked me just out of the blue? If you asked me to lie for you, I would not do it for free. If you asked me to die for you, I think you don't care for me. I'd go from Challenger Deep to Everest Peak for you if you asked me to. But I'd be asking you, why are you out of your mind if you asked me just out of the blue? Do it readily. If you asked me to love you, I could do that easily. I'd go from Challenger Deep to Everest Peak for you if you asked me to. But I'd be asking you, why are you out of your mind if you asked me just out of the blue? Thanks. We're going to do a new one now. We've got a friend who's a documentary filmmaker, and sometime last year, last summer sometime, he sent us an email and said, I'm doing this documentary, and it's about the different ways that various faith groups around the world deal with climate change and the environment. And we're doing a church service near you where the vicar is going to read out the names of every single animal that's gone extinct, animal and plant and all kinds of species that have gone extinct in the past 100 years. Was it 100 years? Was it less than that? 100 years, yeah. And for every name that they read out, they're going to chime the bell as a sort of death knell for that particular species. And we want some music for it. We're going to film it, and we want some music. So he asked us if we could sing something suitably somber, and we couldn't really think of many songs that we knew that would fit the occasion perfectly well. So I thought, well, we'll write something. So this was the song that we wrote for that. And the number of species, I should remember it, it was in the hundreds. It's absolutely horrifying. And that's just the ones that are confirmed extinct. The actual number is likely to be much, much higher. So yeah, this is a song called Already Gone. 2, 3.
I was the last of my kind. How I wish I was alone. For too long you've been blind. Another name on the list of those already gone. The church bell tolled for our loss. My heart breaks with every chime. No shallow grave, no wooden cross to mark the end of the line. I was the last of my kind. How I wish I was alone. For too long you've been blind. Another name on the list of those already world of greed, want not need. You threw so much away. A fragile earth, she cannot breathe. Fights to live another day. I was the last of my kind. How I wish I was alone. For too long you've been blind. Another name on the list of those already gone. Must believe this world can heal, though the scars will always be. Remember them, remember me, for the desert meets the sea. I was the last of my kind. How I
play another new song for you now. We tend to like to write songs inspired by various sort of local legends and things. And we grew up down in South Devon, and we got through every single one of those that we could find, every local story. And then we moved house. We moved up to the Bath area. So we thought after a while of thinking, we don't have anything to write about anymore, we thought, I know, let's look into the local legends of this area now. So I think actually what we should do is just move around the country and exhaust all the local legends, and then when we've done all the songs we can move on again. But anyway, so we thought we'd Charlotte lives in Bath and I live just over the border in Wiltshire, so we gave ourselves the whole of Somerset and Wiltshire to go at. And this is an old story from Wiltshire, from a village called Odstock, which is near Salisbury. And it had a population of gypsies, and I think relationships were pretty good with the rest of the locals for a long time, until one day there was a horse stolen, and it was the son-in-law of the sort of head of the family that stole this horse. But to get himself out of being hanged for it, he blamed his father-in-law, who was a popular, well-loved man, and so he was wrongly killed for the theft of this horse, and there was a lot of uproar about it within the community, quite rightly. So after he died and he was buried in the local church. And a year after he died, the family decided that they'd have a big party around his grave to sort of remember his life and that kind of thing. And as part of the party, they planted a yew tree over the grave. And that tree grew really, really well. It was a lovely big tree, but it shaded the graveyard in a way that wasn't popular with the rest of the people who attended the church. So they chopped it down, which obviously didn't go down very well. So the man who died's wife cursed everyone involved in the church to have bad crops and unsuccessful lives. And in particular, she cursed the church so that if anyone locked the door to keep the gypsies out of it, that person would die. The curse has apparently been lifted now, and they are able to lock the door on the church. But it was apparently the case that you couldn't lock this door for a very long time. So this is on the set. It's a new song, so we've not recorded it, so it doesn't have an official title yet. But it's on the set list. It's just called Odstock.
Shy was stolen in Salisbury, could have been the final straw. Lee should have hanged, but he framed his father-in-law. Old man Scamp was a well-loved man, patriarch of the gypsies. Hundreds gathered for a sad farewell in the Odstock churchyard. The life of a man for the loss of a horse, the key in the lock for the life of a man. 1 year he'd been in the ground. The gypsies gathered for a party, drank and covered his grave with flowers. At his feet they planted a yew tree. The tree grew tall and the tree grew tall. The vicar could not stand it, tore its roots up from the ground in the Odstock churchyard. Life of a man for the loss of a horse, key in the lock for the life of a man. You've preached your last sermon. The warden's sons won't farm his land, and left them to the sexton. And when they barred her from the church, she hissed a final parting. Who dares lock this door will die in the Odstock churchyard.
So we'll move on now to a legend from Dartmoor about a lady who supposedly died, and then she was cursed rather than a building curse to rise from her grave every night. So the story is that she had a lot of husbands, and she didn't really like any of them, I don't think. She was very wealthy, and she was married off very young for sort of reasons of fortune and all that kind of stuff that you get in period dramas. And all these husbands seemed to die. Not sure whether she had anything to do with that, but perhaps that's why she was cursed. But anyway, supposedly, every night at midnight, she appears headless, and she gets into a carriage made of human bones, driven by a headless horseman headless coach driver, and the horses are also headless. And there's this big black dog, and it's a Cyclops dog. Did a dog just bark on cue there?
Was it a big black one?
No, it doesn't look
We
like...
could borrow it and we could act out the scene.
It doesn't look
Probably
very
with heads.
scary at all. It looks lovely. But well done, dog. That was perfect. Anyway, so this dog isn't... we love all dogs, to be honest, but this one, if you see it, apparently... Star of the show. That's brilliant. So anyway, this dog, apparently if you see this one, you die. So this is the only, the only dog in the world that we don't actually want to see. But anyway, so this dog goes ahead of this load of people with no heads. And presumably it's some kind of a guide dog because it has at least got one eye. So they have to travel away to this mound where there was once a castle. The dog has to pick a blade of grass, which we used to have a whippet greyhound, which are rubbish for training. But so we'd have never managed to train him to do this. But if you could manage to train your dog to pick a single blade of grass and place it on a stone, which is what this dog had to do, then you're a genius. But anyway, they had to do that every night until this mound was completely bare. And so obviously it's never going to happen. And then once they've done that, she can finally rest. So this is the story of Lady Mary Howard. There's a lady, all day sleeping in her grave. But her rest is not eternal, for the night makes her its slave. When the bell tolls at midnight, she is dragged from her sleep. There a coach for her is waiting, and to the castle they do speed. Lady Howard rides in style, head of the coach, a gruesome pile of human bones. Four sable horses, and the coachman goes without his head. Black dog, big as horses, speeds ahead and leads the way. 16 miles they must travel, all before the break of day. From a mound outside the castle, the dog must pick a single blade, not a stone by Fitzford house gate. The blade of grass is laid. Lady Howard rides in style, head of the coach, a gruesome pile of human bones. Four sable horses, and the coachman goes without his head.
they must suffer night after night. When spirits reign, take the grass from the castle till only earth and stone remain. There's a lady, all day sleeping in her grave, but her rest is not eternal, for the night makes her insane.
So we like to kind of travel abroad for touring when we can. All makes it nice and interesting and stuff, and see different places. And probably our favourite place in the world to go is Austria. Laura does the booking, or has. We've not been for a while, but when we've been over there, Laura's done the booking and using our school German, and so we've not really necessarily had any very good gigs there, or they've usually been a bit odd and things like that, because perhaps they didn't know what was going on and we didn't know what was going on. So it's kind of it's always been interesting.
Element.
Yeah. Anyway, this particular gig that we were doing, we don't really know what it was. I think from what I got, it was council funded, and it seemed to be at someone's house.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Oh, are we? Oh yeah, different song.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do that one. They were on the same trip. Anyway, so this it was. I think the gig was council funded. It seemed to be at someone's house, and we performed for him and his 3 friends, who all came for a barbecue and a free bar. It was very nice. There were goats, which, I mean, does it get better than that, really? Free bar, donkey and goats. Anyway, so, yeah, we were on this little sort of stage balcony type thing outside his house, and there was a beautiful ornately carved lighting rig that sort of was there permanently up above our heads, and a bird had nested on it, and it had chicks in the nest, and there was one chick still left in there, and it was cheeping away. It was really sweet until we started to play, and then kind of this beep, 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 constantly all the way through the set. It was louder than we could get the PA system to go, so quite distracting. Anyway, during a guitar solo, it decided it would take its first ever flight. It didn't get very far. It landed on Charlotte's hand, on her left hand as she was playing. But because she was in the middle of a guitar solo and was quite surprised and taken aback by this brown sharp thing that had suddenly latched onto her fingers, she sort of went like that and threw it into a fence. It did eventually get up and sort of fly off in a wonky kind of a way, but we like to think that it was wonky because it was, only its second flight attempt rather than she'd done any major damage by flapping it to the fence. But yeah, so this is in case the bird was seriously hurt by this incident. Charlotte thought that by way of apology she'd better write it to song. So this is a song with some words of advice for that bird.
As a young thing calling, Mother, oh mother, where did you go? You stole my heart. feared you falling right down to the ground below, right down to the ground below. Take one chance and hold back your worry. Take one breath in the cool night air. One small step, you need not hurry. Most of all, you must take care. Most of all, you must take care. You learn slow, but you will get there. Trust your wings, they're sure to fly. Once in flight, they can take you anywhere. Live your life unafraid to die. Live your life unafraid to die.
What's that? Here's one from another European trip. This time I wasn't there. Laura deserted me and went off on tour with Maz O'Connor for a time. And have you seen Maz play before? She's great. She's been here. Okay. Have you played here with her? Or no. No, she's got someone else. So Maz was on tour around Germany and the Netherlands, and it was a solo tour, but I don't really know the reasoning behind it, but one gig needed to be as a duo. It was in this little Irish bar in Amsterdam, and the only reasoning I can think why it needed to be a duo was because it was an Irish bar, and every other band they booked played trad Irish music, and I think they probably thought that by booking someone called O'Connor with a fiddle player, that made it Irish music. I would say it probably didn't, because we played Maz's usual set with the bluegrass fiddle player added on. But there we go. It was good fun, and I got a trip to Amsterdam out of it, which I'd never been there before, so I was quite keen to have a good look around. Anyway, it was December, and it rained the whole time, and it was freezing cold, and we were on quite a tight budget for doing a lot of touristy things. So the main thing that we did was, well, I did anyway. I went round all the cheese shops and lived off the cheese samples available in them, which you can live quite well off those if all you want to eat is cheese, which, let's face it, who wants anything other than cheese? It was good. Cake, cheese and cake, they're the two things that you need to live. Anyway, I ate a lot of cheese, and the rest of the time we spent trying to keep dry and not spend any money in the bar that we were playing in. It was a funny little place, and it had lots of regular customers who we kind of got to know a little bit. You know, saw them. We played 2 nights running, so we saw them both nights. There was one lady who we chatted to for a while in there, who she stood out particularly in there, but she'd stand out pretty much anywhere. She was probably in her 80s or 90s, but was still very fit. She was dressed head to toe in pink, mostly covered in sequins. And she smelt of pink as well, just everything about her. She was just so pink. She was a really lovely lady. She was from England originally, but she'd lived in Amsterdam almost her whole life. She'd moved over there as a teenager to become a ballet dancer, and she told us all about her time back in her youth there as a dancer. Anyway, so I wrote this song sort of inspired by her, and it's called Amsterdam.
She floats into the bar, pale pink with a rose perfume, long hair up in her headscarf, sequins light the gloom. Her accent is peculiar from English words and youthful charms long since began to fade. She says I came here for music. I came here to dance. I heard it was the place to be. She was a ballerina. She could twirl and leap and fly. The waitress slowed her down. She still seems feather-light. She says I came here for music. I came here to dance. I heard it was a place to be. Amsterdam. So while we sing and play, eyes closed, arms stretched out wide, all eyes are upon her as she begins to dance. She says I came here for the music. I came here to dance. I heard it was a place to be. Amsterdam. I heard it was a place to be. Amsterdam.
Thank you. So Laura's a big Emmylou Harris fan, and going to play a song that she did now. And this is one called One of Those Days, or One of These Days, or something. One of These Days. I'll know by the time we get to that part in the lyrics. It's these, okay, I think.
I can be bad or I can be good. I can be any way that I feel one of these days. I might be a woman that's dressed in black. I might be a hobo by the railroad track. I'll be gone like this land, carrying the Lord's book in my hand, going across the country singing loud as I can. One of these days, and I won't have trouble on my back, cutting like the devil with a chopping axe, gonna shake him off my back. One of these days, one of these days, it will soon be all over, cut and dry, and I won't have the surge to go all bottled up inside. One of these days I'll look back and I'll say I left in time, 'cause somewhere for me I know there's peace of mind. It's gonna be peace of mind for me one of these days.
So we were driving home from a gig in North Wales a while ago, and we took the scenic route. It was Laura's choice, not mine. Laura, back before, we have to go in so many different cars now because we've just got too many babies between us that we can't fit the instruments in cars with children. So in the old days, when we were in the same car, and Laura would do the navigating and I would do the driving mostly, and because of that, I didn't really get much say in the routes we took, because I just had to do as I was told, really, because my sense of direction is absolutely hopeless, and I never know where I am in the world, so I just have to have this blind faith in Laura doing it sensibly. But unfortunately, Laura's idea of a shortcut is that it has to be shorter in distance, and the time it takes is totally irrelevant, apparently. So we used to end up taking ages over drives, which I don't do anymore, which is great.
But how much quicker did you get here than us today?
A good 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, you see, you are 20 minutes closer and you set off 10 minutes earlier.
See, I came via Kidderminster.
Charlotte came the motorways route.
Yeah, but I bet you were getting live traffic reports on Google Maps.
Yeah, but it was my decision. I wasn't ruled by Google Maps.
I was ruled by an old-fashioned sat-nav, which took us through the traffic in Birmingham.
We can have this argument later.
Yeah, but we're having it now, Laura. Anyway, so Laura, on her scenic route, gazing happily out of the window at the sheep in Wales, spotted a house she liked. Laura's not only really into maps, she's just into anything in 2D, really, so she loves floor plans, to the extent that she sits on Rightmove and looks at houses and looks at the photos and the floor plans, and every now and then she'll send me something through saying, look, this floor plan is wrong, I've fixed it. And so she compares photos and checks that the estate agents have done a good job. And often, actually, they are totally wrong. It's really funny. But anyway, I've gone off track a bit. Anyway, so she looked at this house. It was a good, solid, square house. And I know that Laura in her head will have been thinking, that'll have a nice floor plan. And so with that in mind, she'll have probably thought too long about this house and started to make up a history of it, which is, I guess, what happened. And so this is the history of this house. It had the date above the door, which was kind of some inspiration for it, and it looked a little abandoned. So this is 1912 house.
There's a house that sits up high, its panes reflect the darkening sky. The date sits proud above the door, but no one lives there anymore. It briefly was a happy home, a piece of mountain all their own. The summer reached from bathed with lights, in winter fires would warm the night. Inch by inch, stone by stone, built by the strength of human hands. Those that built it are long gone. Love and loss hit hard, but still it stands. built their home up from the ground. She made a garden all around. 1 year on, a baby boy became their greatest ever joy. 1914 came too soon. Faces fell as news broke through. His friends signed up, but he stayed on. He could not leave his wife and son. Inch by inch, stone by stone, built by strength of human hand. Those that built it are long gone. Love and loss hit hard, but still it stands. To fight. In 2 years he had lost that right. In fear he clung on to his gun, but could not shoot nor could he run. And so he never did come home, and she couldn't manage on her own. The date sits proud above the door, but no one lives there anymore. Inch by inch, stone by stone, built by strength of human hands. Those that built it are long gone. Love and loss hit hard, but still it stands.
We're going to play a Gillian Welch song for you now. Yeah, I wouldn't cheer, it's not her. We're going to play an okay, hopefully, version of a Gillian Welch song for you. This is one called Dear Someone.
I know that there's some
Thanks very much. Well, we're going to do one more for you now, and this is a sing-along. Are you ready for a sing-along? That didn't sound very enthusiastic. I'm sure that there are quite a lot of you out there. I know it's a bit hot, but this a bit of energy will cool you down, I expect, somehow, as if by magic. And so, yeah, are you ready for a sing-along? There you are, thank you. So, yeah, this has some words and a tune, and hopefully you'll get the hang of them. But the most important bit is the yodel AET. If you can just shout something along those lines at that point with some kind of a melody or not, that would be great, because you won't have to hear us doing it. And yeah, so this is a horribly happy song that we wrote a while ago, and it's called Today is a Good Day. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks to everyone on the sound for doing a brilliant job, and for everyone running this festival. It's brilliant. If you'd like to hear us again, we are playing later. It'll probably be mostly the same stuff, but you'll have forgotten it by then. On the second stage at 7 o'clock, I think. And also, if you would like to hear us again, forever and ever and ever, we have CDs in the Roots record tent at the back. And there's just one title to keep it simple, but we have others if you want them off our website. Are you ready? Good. Still remember those words? 1, 2.